Johnny and I had a couple hours to kill this afternoon since we closed the shop down up at the slide. So we've got some free time finally. So we're on right at the slide in. We're gonna float down to Reynolds Pass, just gonna nymph for an hour or so, just to see what's going on. He's been doing really well down below when he was still guiding, but it's early November, 40 degrees out and sunny in the afternoon, so we're gonna take advantage of it. Float down, fish a couple runs, see what we can do. Probably gonna be fishing small stuff like 18s and 20 betas, midges, stuff like that. I'm just gonna see what we get. We're gonna run down here real quick and hit, like I said, 1 or 2 runs and see what we can pull out. So we floated downstream a little bit from the lodge. Johnny's gonna be my guide, my fish netter until I catch one, then he's gonna take the rod.
Needs all the help he can get.
Yeah, I need help. So I got the most basic, I've got a 2-fly, I've got a midge on. I've actually got 2 midges on. Real basic, old school, I'm going lead above my flies. I don't like to drop shot with 20s on. It's hard to get, I don't want to put a double dropper loop on. We're trying to, there's quite a few spawners around, so we're being really aware of where we're walking right now. There's no spawning reds right here. There's a ton of them below us. We're up in the flats in here where there's just, fish aren't spawning. We're setting up where they're not spawning. And we're just gonna run a couple seams. Like I said, we're only gonna fish for a little bit. We've got probably 30 minutes of daylight left. We just wanted to get out for a minute. I'm gonna start naked, meaning I'm not gonna have an indicator on. I'm running lead with my lead is above my flies, which I don't normally do. But I'm gonna try to go without the indicator just to see how I do as far as picking it up. It's a lot less effective to do that. It's better to have your lead below your fly or to be using, weighted fly, a check line. But it's a nice soft pocket here so I can see the fly line. If it moves, I can feel it. I can see if it touches bottom. I've actually got my lake rod with me. It's a 10-foot 5-weight, and it's got a, oh, there you go. And so it's just a real basic, it's the line I use for my dry fishing on the lake. It's got a white tip, it's a Cortland line. And I don't know if they still make it, but I've had it forever. But it's real easy for me to kind of high stick and lead that fly along, and I can see the tip of the fly. If I don't feel like I'm getting it, I'll put an indicator on about 3.5 feet above the flies. It's pretty skinny in here. I don't want to have to do that. There. I've got, ooh, he's all colored up black. I've got a 20, oh, I forgot I had a net guy.
Yeah, I got a net guy.
I have a net, man. I forgot about that.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
There you go.
This your first time netting?
First time. Yep, he's pretty.
I don't even have to get my hands wet. This is what it's like to be a rich guy.
Yeah. Right up there. Ate the midge.
I don't even get to handle my own fish. Turn him into the sun. Ooh, that's good. So, well, there you go. I'm just, like I said, we call it naked nymphing. I don't have an indicator on. I'm just going by lead. This run is just ideal for it. It's not really fast. I'm going to catch 1 or 2 more, and then I'm going to let Johnny do it and be his net man. If you notice, when I walked out here, I didn't walk out. I'm not in the real sweet spot yet. For those of you who've watched, before, I filmed here about, how long ago was that, Johnny?
Oh, is where the fish stuck you with the hook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that
like 12 years ago?
12 years ago. I was fishing here doing an indicator, high stick nymphing video, and I got a really big brown, and it ate the fish that I had on, and then I put a streamer on and I got it, and I dropped it, and it hooked me in the forearm.
Yeah.
Whoops. Can't do that and talk. So That was 12 years ago, but I had a giant streamer on and I got waylaid by the brown trout. It was ugly. It's a little clip called Brown Eats Cutty. So I just said, I'm fishing this inside, just looking for anything that might be right here. And I'll move out to where it's a little bit deeper. I'm just sectioning this off. I've got a little bit of drop time. Oh,
there you go.
Just as it was on the
Rainbow.
This 10-foot rod, I've got 4X tippet on, even though I'm running a 20 fly. I don't like to mess around with them too long. It's a rainbow.
Good
rainbow.
fish for you.
Got 4X tippet on with a 20. Kind of the theory is if you can get your tippet through it, go for it. It's just a little rainbow.
Little guy there.
Pretty guy.
Pretty.
So I'm still just watching that white tip of the line, and all I'm looking for is it to do anything. It's not like I could have an indicator on and it would be the same thing. You're looking for a very little movement to your fly. I'm sectioning off a little angle here. So I've got drop time, up here when I throw the fly in, it's where the fly is gonna sink. And that's really not, so it's gonna sink right there. And about right in front of me here, I'm in contact with the bottom I just touched. And when you set the hook, you notice that I just touched it. If you're hooked on bottom, you don't want to ruin it. You don't want to pull your flies up and down. So try to get used to watching it. I'm kind of leading it so I can feel it too, meaning I like to get downstream of my lead. And then I'm just going to follow it through there. And I'm watching the line. I'm leading it. There's no slack in it. I'm very close to bottom. I'm not touching. I'm going to go a little shorter on that one. I'm surprised. I like to fish a wedge. I just like to have control of, and I move to where I want. I'm not going to just keep casting further, because the more line I get way out there, the less control I've got. And if I can move out to it, I do. I don't like to, I get more control over it if I move to the fish. I overset on that one and I picked my flies up 2 foot from the bottom. I was pretty sure that was a fish, so I kind of tapped it a little harder.
Nice.
Biggin.
It's a 3-footer. Yeah. 28, 29.
You don't tend to do a lot of casting with nymph rigs, false casting in particular. Yeah, that was one.
Miss one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You try to just roll it, try to hit above you, just fish that wedge. My guess is with an indicator, I would see more of these eats. I just kind of like to go old school. We know there's nothing hatching right now because it's really late in the day, and we've got betas and we've got midges, and they're done hatching. But generally speaking, when I would go through a run like this, when I'm setting up on a nymph run, I'm going to go right there to the drop, and I'm fishing that 3 to 5 feet right in front of me, trying to have the flies in the same zone. There's a tree out there. So I'm throwing it up above, excuse me, I'm lost there. So I'm going through here, I'm leading it just a little bit so I can feel it and I can see my line. And then in a normal, like in a daytime fishing, when I'm hoovering this, look at that. I'll finish this thought process in a second if I can ever quit catching weeds. What I was saying, so that's my drop zone, and now catching another stick. I'm pretty good at this. 3 in a row. What I keep trying to tell you is I get through here.
Oh, that would have been fine.
I get right through here in a normal nymph situation. I'm going to the bottom. I fish that 3 to 5 feet dead in front of me. And then what you do is you just kind of turn and let your flies come up. Let them ascend from the bottom up. If, say, it was a morning thing or an afternoon. And if you constantly get fish on the movement, it's telling you your flies are probably below your fish because they're just moved up to follow them.
You snagged?
Whatever that is pulling rather largely.
Might be a fish.
It might be a fish. It also might be someone hooked in the butt. Wow, that thing's a puller. I can't do much here.
Yeah, you don't want to go down there.
I'm gonna relax this fish a little bit, try to give it some line. I don't want to go through that spawning red down below. I'm gonna free spool it a little bit to see if he'll come up. If they get below you and you pull, they just bulldog you down. So I'm giving this fish slack. I'm not gonna chase it through those spawning reds anyway. I'm just not gonna, I have no idea how big it is. I was giving it slack to see if it would turn around and go, if the line gets below it, it'll feel that and move up. But I'm not gonna mess with this thing. It feels like a really big fish. So I'm gonna go way over to the shoreline, see if I can get around to change my angle. But I don't wanna fight it forever either, so. This feels like a really big fish. Okay, now I've got it, now it's coming up. I slacked up on it, I got enough free line and he started swimming upstream. I don't have any tension on him. So I'm not doing anything. I'm letting the fish start to swim back up. He's actually going upstream right now under no tension at all because I let the line get slack on him. And now it's swimming upstream because the line's below it and he's going away from the line. Kind of boring, just sitting here letting him swim upstream as far as he wants to. Which people are afraid they're going to lose their fish. And it's, you know, in this situation, I would much rather lose. I think it's a really big fish or it's something snagged in the ass. One or the other.
You said it, not me.
But and it's a 20 hook, and so I'm letting it just swim up nice and soft. I'm not putting any pressure on it at all. I'm actually just trying to get the line below it, and the fish will swim right past me. It doesn't want to, it can feel the line below it, so it's going away from it. But I did not want to go down to these spawning reds. I'm just going to break it off if it does it again. I don't like to fight them too long. I don't like to, you can see it's coming right upstream beside us. That fish will go right past me. I hardly have any pressure on it. You can see it's going up. I'm trying to get it to go past me. It feels like a really good fish, but it could be something foul hooked in the hind end. It's hardly.
That's a good fish.
It's a good one. So that fish is now swimming above me. I did nothing. Now I'm going to put some heat to it because it's above me.
Yeah. In the butt.
I think I've got him in a fin.
Yeah. You can snag fish in nymph fishing as opposed to streamer fishing.
It wasn't a big fish. I'll let Johnny go down and.
I don't want to get down below it. Got him right in the fin.
Got him in the fin.
We owned it though.
Hmm? No, I got it.
I just pulled it. I couldn't get it.
I wanted to show that anyway because I talk about it a lot. How if you can free spool a fish, we did it steelhead fishing all the time. When they get below you, people just start pulling on the fish. Like, I gotta stop it, I gotta stop it. You can't stop the damn thing, it's below you. You got a size 20 hook on. So you notice I kind of walked at it, but I can't go more than 20 feet down below here because there's spawners, there's reds down there. And by the way, when you're looking at a red, worry about the water below it because the eggs go out of the bed and they go down in that gravel. And I just didn't want to walk down there and start smashing eggs. And so I free spooled it, she turned around, and basically just stood here for a minute or two and let her swim past us and we landed it. And I felt like a big fish, but like I said, sometimes you snag them, and it was a snagged fish. So got it in, let her go. She was in and out in a hurry. It's just one more trick because that free spool and her just let go. Just don't put the heat to it. Enjoy what's going to happen. Enjoy the fight. Straighten my hook out. You know, still got the fish, but I was like this close to saying the hell with it and breaking it off because I was kind of thinking it felt like it was either going to be a 6-7 pound fish or it was going to be a foul hooked fish. It was a foul hooked fish. So don't straighten your hooks out with your teeth. I'm going to change this up, go back out, let Johnny fish for a minute, warm my hands up. This is how we usually fish. I'm always the net guy. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Nice. Did it get you? Right in the head. Ting. Yeah. While we're young, Whitey.
I don't think they're in here. They're going up.
There's still one in there.
They're not in here. They're up here.
Like I said in there, I like to fish pretty tight. When you're going as far as, you know, you can walk out there, but the fish are kind of all over. It's a better indicator pool. If you can get, like if you're checking, if you're tight, when you can run close, but you're having to throw that far, it's a way better indicator pool. Johnny's gonna put on a little Oros and throw it out there. You can fish these seams as they're coming down, but when you start talking 20-foot casts and more, it's really hard because your line, you can't see your line as much. It's hard to keep up with. It's a pretty fast little riffle. The one I was fishing, pretty slow. I mean, really easy to tight line or naked, whatever you want to call it. And so this one's, it drops off pretty good. It's still 3 foot deep there, maybe not quite, but it's a lot easier to fish with an indicator. I mean, and if you could get closer, it's easy. It's a really good tight line run, but if you're gonna stay back, and we don't know if there's any, there could be some old spawning beds out there. I don't think so, there never usually is, but it's just, we're trying to fish the stuff that they're staging up or they're done and they're just in this fast water, so. Oh yeah. I saw that. You saw that. So that, as far out as he was, it had been really hard to do it naked. That would be a really hard pull.
Rainbow.
She gon' look like a rainbow, didn't it? Did to me. Just, yeah. That's guide talk if you didn't know. Hey, oh. It could mean, oh shit, you missed. Got one. Could mean a lot of things.
We should be hooking a fish about every cast, and they're not eating it. Which probably means we may not have the right fish
like
on.
That one?
Nope, bottom.
If you're not hooking bottom now and then, if you're nymph fishing, if you're fishing an indicator, or if you're running lead, if you're checking, that's a little different. But if you're not running and hitting bottom, at least every third cast, you really should consider whether you have enough weight to get you where you belong. You don't want to drag bottom, but you want to have something telling you that where your flies are. And generally, when I'm running on that one, I'm running lead, fly. Oh, nice boat. So you want it to touch to tell you you're somewhere near it. That thing's fresh, chromy.
Yep, rainbow. God, not my day for landing fish.
Hey,
Got the fun part out of the way. I'm fired.
Keep at it. It's your birthday. Not really. My hands are cold. As I was saying before Johnny interrupted me with that rainbow that he lost, you want to touch bottom. I like to at least every third cast or so, especially if you don't know the water. And I mean, that run I fished 100 times. I know exactly where my flies are. If I'm not familiar with it, I need to know my flies are getting close to bottom, so I need to touch, whether I, lose a fly, rather just get hung up. I never want to be hanging up. I just want to, at least once or twice through that run, I want to feel bottom with the split shot. If you're checking or if you're drop shotting, which is how I prefer to fish, is drop shotting with my lead below my flies, I don't mind if I feel it every single cast because my flies are above that. If I'm checking, I don't want the bottom fly touching because I don't have any lead, and if the flies on the bottom is touching, it's not really fishing. So you kind of got to get used to just knowing how deep your flies are. But here, that's about, like I said, about a 3-foot run, not quite. And it's nice to see his indicator every once in a while just bump. That's all it needs. And you want to be cognizant of the fact that it's going to bump now and then, and not just set up on everything. You don't want to distort your drift every time. Every time you do, you give it this giant pull like that, your flies are going to go up and down in the water column. And so what you're trying to get used to is you got an idea it's going to take like 2-3 foot of drift to hit close to bottom, and you kind of anticipate it and you just touch it. Just touch it, just enough to break it. If it's a fish, it'll be solid, right? And you can kind of set up on it a little bit. But otherwise, just touch, touch, touch. And if it's too much, you just take a little off, right? Or move your fly, move it up a little bit, your indicator up or down, excuse me. Whatever it takes to just have you stop dragging bottom. Back in the saddle.
It's cold. There you go.
That is a little feller.
Brownie.
Bigger than I thought he was. Little lazy.
What's it like to land one?
He's trying to jump in your net for you.
Yeah. Brownie.
Nice. You're a good net boy. I don't run indicators that much. One thing I do, I think a little different than most people, is that I encourage my line to be below the indicator. You see, I've got it downstream of the indicator. I see a lot of people will go out and they'll set their fly up like this, and then they just sit and mend the living shit out of it, upstream, upstream, upstream. Every time you flick that line to get it to drift like that, you move your flies, right? I'd rather go in and lift my line up a little bit. It's a nice slow run so you can do it. And keep the line, the indicator just, ooh, she gone. I get to see it better that way because it's pulling the flies down. The lead's still there. The flies are going to be below all of that anyway. I've set that hook on that rock 3 times. But you can see it. I get to see it, and especially right in front of me, right there, I don't like to be mending. People tend, I say this all the time, I fish a wedge. So I'm going to fish this zone right here. I'm going to have a drop zone at the top. I'm going to have the part in the middle where I'm fishing, and then I got the lift at the bottom. But where I'm really trying to fish is the 3 to 5 feet right in front of me. And that's where I want complete control over the indicator if I'm just leading it, however you're fishing. And if every time your indicator right here is right in front of you and you mend the damn thing, your flies are doing this right in front of your fish. Really a bad habit. So I I try not to have much line on the water. I let it, you can see it's just a little tiny bit of, I've just got a little bitty curve in the line. And then I'm just watching the indicator right in front of me. I think I've pretty much fished this little section out. But see, it's just got a little bit, it's leading the fly. It's pulling against the, it's not dragging. You can see it's not dragging. It's simply downstream my line is of the indicator. I don't care if it's straight across, but I don't like it to be, oh, puller. Come over here. Come to, oh yeah, I got a net boy. I forget about you. I don't get this luxury of a net guy very often.
Come on.
Oh, Qigong. Sorry, Charlie.
He just swam away. That's all right. Nice fish.
20 hook.
Yep.
I kind of put a little heat on that.
That's all right.
At the end.
You got the fun part.
I forget I forget I have a net boy. That's about at the edge of running a naked rig. I've got that indicator on now. That would be right at the edge of fishing. Might even be a little bit too far out if you're going to go without the indicator. Kind of a weird back eddy right there. It's kind of hanging up for a second and dropping in here. This is a big staging zone.
Rainbow again?
I don't think so.
Yep.
Is it? Oh, it is.
Got him.
Perfect.
Birdie.
Got a messed up mouth. You want to fish some more?
I'll do 2 more. If I
Okay.
lose 1 more fish, I'm gonna can walk my fat ass into oncoming traffic. Oh, don't do that.
You're handy around here.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to admit it, Johnny's just a little taller than me, like a foot. Hey,
Ah! I
you lose.
totally lost another one. I'm not very good
That
today.
height makes it, it's a mechanical advantage. I would have trouble, you know, being 6 inches shorter. Hey, that's a runner. He can fish further out than I can.
Oh.
And have control of his line. Woo.
20 hooks.
What the idea on this is that we land them in the net,
Yeah.
so
I'm
people
working
can
on
see
that.
What I was saying though is that, like, he's in pretty skinny water, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of times when you're in water like this,
Dude.
if you're 5'9" out there, or you're 6'5", you get a better advantage to hold your line up, so you don't have to have as much line on the water. It seems like a minor thing, but it really isn't when you're trying to get really good line angles, and you just got to set up different. That's all you do.
Not my day. Might actually land one. There you go. That's the fun part. I am gonna try one though.
One more time. What's he doing?
Just hanging down there. All right. Ready?
I'm ready when you
flip
are.
them. 1, 2.
It's a rainbow.
Yep.
It's in the hiney. Just so
Yep.
you.
That's the only way I can hook them. This is probably the worst thing I could possibly think of. I have not landed one fish except for a snagged one, and I probably hooked about 8.
It looked like Looked like a
And
big
I
one
swear
when
to
you
God,
did it.
If I'm in this video, I will kill you. Hind. Another rainbutt.
Rainbutt.
One more fish. One more fish. That's a good cast. And that we should produce the fish. Oh, come on.
I personally like to set the hook when they eat it.
Yeah, that's smart.
Everybody has their own way of doing it. You know, if you want to wait, that's cool too.
It's pretty embarrassing, actually.
So, little round thing, when it goes down,
yeah,
you pick up. There you go. You got it. Ooh, that's a bigger one. I might even net that one. Ooh, look at the chompers on him. Oh, come back to me.
nice scoop.
I gave him a swimmer. See, when I flipped it in the air, I flipped it out, the hook out. That's just how good I am. And then
Clusterfuck.
nice little dark rainbow. Come here, I want to show you the world. Hands are cold. That was pretty.
Yeah, if you could just get the fish jumping and the rod, not the fact that I lost, 9 fish in a row.
Right.
And then landed one in the ass. That would also be helpful.
Temps dropped about 10 degrees. Still beautiful out. Came out to just kill some time and catch a few fish, show a few techniques. As you see, we're running size 20s. And we're running, Johnny's actually going to start landing fish now. We
can land the small ones.
Oh. Where are you gonna go with that? Come here, buddy.
There you go. Good job.
Here.
I'll take care of that. Thank you.
So we're fishing size 20s. We're fishing really pretty marginal water as far as depth. We're not fishing anything really crazy. It's just, you're fall fishing, it's just about being where the fish are. They like these insides, they like soft water. They're not gonna, waste energy out in that super fast stuff. And so it's just a great way to spend an afternoon, whether you want to do it naked, you want to do it with an indicator, however you want to do it. It's just, and it's usually, I've mentioned it several times. We know there's spawners around here. You can see a lot of those browns. They're kind of dark, they're getting ready or they're done. I mean, it's November, but you get these warm days like this. It's, great midge fishing. Early, it's usually pretty good baetis. And usually you find, there's not very many people around this time of year, so it's kind of nice. It was good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Did what we wanted to do. Again, hope you liked it. Go out and give it a shot. Even you can snag him in the butt like Johnny.